Today we are continuing on with my makeup collection declutter series. We have mascaras, eyeliners, brow products, and setting powders left. Actually also lippies. I forgot about that. We have to do lip liners and lipsticks and all the lip things. So that might have to be its own video because that's probably going to be a large part of my collection. So I think for today, let's try and tackle eyebrows, eyeliners, mascaras, and setting powders. I want to start with mascaras, and I've actually already pulled these three out because they are empties, but I thought I would show them to you because they are some of my favorite mascaras. So this Bite Beauty mascara is no longer available. I have a huge stash of these when they were getting discontinued and they were showing up at Ross, and I bought like 10 of them because this is my favorite mascara to ever exist of all time. So if someone would please buy Bite Beauty's formula and repackage it for their brand, that would be fantastic. Nothing compares to this mascara. Nothing. And I've tried hundreds of mascaras. So if you can find this anywhere, Ross, Marshalls, anything like that, you get lucky. Highly, highly recommend. So this isn't empty though, so that's going in the trash. Another empty and another favorite is the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. This is the one that is in Jet, which is black. I've gone through so many of these. And then a more recent favorite that I've discovered is this one from Milk Makeup. This is actually a tubing mascara. It's the Kush High Roll mascara. I really, really love this one. I used this one up and I have a backup ready to go. I haven't actually tried this mascara yet. I do have a lot of mascaras in here that are unopened. I try to only have like at most 2 or 3 mascaras open at the same time. So some of these I will be keeping because I haven't tried them yet. And this is one of those. This is the Benefit They're Real Magnet. And I'm not going to open it to show you the brush because I don't want this to start drying out until I'm ready to use it. So this is a keep. This one from Tower 28 is the brown version. This is the shade Drift. This is the one that I am currently using on the daily and I love it so, so much. This one from Joa kind of surprised me. This is their volumizing and lengthening mascara. I am worried that this might be getting close to being dried out because I actually haven't used it in a long time, but I know it's been open for a while. So you can see the brush there. It's definitely more of a big, fluffy, fibrous brush. I think just because of how old this one is, I think it's time to let this one go, but this was a nice mascara. I did enjoy it. I bought this because I needed a waterproof mascara this past summer. I can't say I particularly love this one, but I think it's my only waterproof mascara I own. So for that reason, I'm going to be hanging on to it. Here's what the brush looks like. Actually very similar to that Joa one. So this is a keep. This was sent to me in friend mail. This is the mascara from Huda Beauty. As you can see, it's still in the box. I haven't opened it yet, so I'm keeping this. This is a mascara that I tried last year for the first time and absolutely fell in love with. It's also a tubing mascara, so it removes super, super easily. And you guys, like, this picture is no lie. Like, that's what it makes my lashes look like. Give it a few days after you first open it to really get to its most dramatic, voluminous state, but really love this mascara, and I'm excited to use up some of my open ones and finally start using this one again. I love the FanFest from Benefit. I don't currently own a full size. I've already gone through it, but I have this unopened small size for travel, so I'll be hanging on to this. Oh, look at that. I have another travel size of the Benefit FanFest. This I know has been used, and it kind of feels, it's kind of looking a little dry, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. Okay, I have a bunch of mini mascaras in here, and if I'm being honest, I don't love mini mascaras in general because I find them hard to use. When the wand is super small, it's just hard to apply. So all of these are unopened, and I don't know that I have any interest in trying any of these out actually. So I'm going to put these in a pile to give away since they're not open yet, and pass these along to someone that might appreciate trying these out. Okay, on second thought, I just realized that this is the Tartelette tubing mascara, which is the similar but old version of the XL. I'm assuming that XL means that it's going to have more volume. So part of me is tempted to hang on to this just to do a comparison between these two to sell what the difference is. But am I actually gonna do that? I don't know. No, okay. I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't need it. This is actually a mascara primer from Too Faced, but it's not white. It is dark, just like a mascara is. And I actually really liked this. I did find that this added a lot of volume to my lashes. I've had this open for a while, but I don't think it's been open long enough to throw away. So I'm gonna hang on to this for now. This is my absolute favorite drugstore mascara primer. Honestly, if you can't afford the Too Faced one, I would say go with this one from L'Oreal. The difference is that this one is white. So if you're not super careful with this, you might get some white specks peeking through your mascara if you're not thorough about covering it. But man, does this give amazing volume to your lashes. I highly recommend this primer, and I will be hanging on to it. I actually haven't tried this one from Lancome yet. This is in my stash of ones I haven't opened, but I'll be hanging on to this because I'm curious to try it out. This product from MAC, I don't fully understand its purpose, to be honest. It's not a primer, it's not a mascara, it's a mascara refresher. I guess it's supposed to kind of be like a dry shampoo for your lashes that you can apply it during the day to give your lashes a boost. I just don't see a need for this. Like, I don't see my lashes like falling or drooping throughout the day. I don't struggle with holding curl. I don't see why I would need to apply this over my mascara during the day. I did try it once, but I will pass this along to maybe a family member or a friend that doesn't mind that it's been used because I'm not getting any use out of it. My declutter/empty mascara count is 10. And I'm going to be keeping these 9 primers and mascaras. This might actually be the first category that I've decluttered more products than I've actually kept. Let's go through my eyeliner drawer next. This is a pretty big category, so I'm gonna sort these by type. So I'm gonna sort them by pencil versus liquid, and then within those categories, I'm also gonna sort them by color to try and make this a little less overwhelming. Let's start with liquid liners. I've got these separated by color. These 3 here are actually the liners that have stamps on them to help you with wings. And there was one point in time that I actually really enjoyed using these, and it was very helpful. I've gotten better at doing winged eyeliner lately, so I definitely don't need to keep all 3 of these. These are both from Kaja, but this one is a long version and this one is a shorter version. I think I'm going to declutter the long version and just keep the short one. And this one from iMethod Beauty, I don't know if I've even ever used it, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. Here's all my brown liquid liners. This one from One Size is a favorite. I'm absolutely keeping this. This one is Point Made in the shade Busty Brown. This one is a felt tip, which actually is not usually my preference, but this one is just the perfect color. You can tell that it's actually brown, but it's not so light that it doesn't look like you're wearing eyeliner. So I really enjoy this one, and I'm hanging on to it for sure. These 2 are liquid liners that I picked up in Japan. You can see there, they say made in Japan. I was just browsing their makeup and I happened across these and I swatched them on the back of my hand. They felt super nice. They have a brush tip and they did not wash off my hand for days. So I was so impressed with the lasting power of these. I have 2 different colors. That one's like a little bit of a lighter brown, and then this one's a bit of a darker brown. So I'm going to be keeping both of these as well. Here's my stack of black liquid liners, and if I'm being honest with myself, I used to only do black wings, but these days I'm really into brown liners, so I don't need to keep all of these. Again, this one is from Japan. It's the same brand in black, so I'm going to hang on to this one. I've had this one from ABH for a very long time, but I only just recently opened it, and I need to use this more. I have not decided how I feel about it. I've only used it once. It is a brush tip, which I tend to prefer over felt tip, so I'm going to keep this one around for a bit longer. This pen from Physicians Formula is my go-to. If you struggle with eyeliner or wings, you need to try this eyeliner. This is the Eye Booster, and this one happens to be the waterproof version. You can see the cute little droplets all over the packaging. I think that's so pretty. This pen feels high-end, honestly. It's very weighty. It doesn't bleed whatsoever. It doesn't run, and it's got that brush tip, so it's really easy to control your line. Highly, highly recommend this one. I know for drugstore pricing, it's a little expensive, but compared to higher end brands, it's a lot more affordable. And I think it outperforms so many higher end eyeliners. I think I'm going to declutter all 4 of these. This one is from Ciate. I got this in an Ipsy and I kept it because one of my friends said that it was super good. And honestly, it is good. I just don't need to keep so many black eyeliners in my collection. And this is a felt tip, which again is not my preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one from Ciate. Also decluttering this one from Kaja. This goes with the Wink stamp, but I would just use a different liner that I prefer in my collection. This one is a felt tip as well, which I don't reach for, so decluttering this. This is another one that I got in an Ipsy. I can't even honestly read the brand. I think it says Defiance Beauty. I just kept this honestly because of how cool the packaging is. It's super geometric and yeah, I just thought it was cool and I just haven't used it. It is I think this one, yeah, this one's also a felt tip. You know the drill with that, so decluttering this. This one from MAC was actually decluttered to me. The person who bought it didn't realize that it wasn't black. It's actually like a deep charcoal. I don't know. I don't really like these kinds of tipped liners. I don't know. I feel like this might be kind of hard to use because a lot of product comes out on this brush when you pull it out of the tube. And I haven't reached for this like at all. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. And then my last liquid liner is this one from the brand Estate. This is actually a blue, and simply because I don't own any other liquid liners in this color, I will be hanging on to this. Next, let's go through my pencil liners that are black. I have the Essential Eye Kohl pencil from Wayne Goss. Technically, this one is not black. This is the shade Rich Hazel. I've used this quite a bit, and what I like about it is that it's in the black family without being super dark. It's almost more of like, I don't know, a dark gray maybe, but I have gotten a lot of use out of this. You probably can't tell, but I've used this quite a bit and I really like the formula of it, so I'll keep this one. These are great eyeliners from the drugstore. They're super affordable. The LA Girl Gel Glide eyeliners. Mine is really old and pretty affordable to repurchase if I decide I want it again, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. I got this one in a BoxyCharm. It's from the brand Farrah. I don't think I've even used this, so I'm going to declutter it. I enjoy this creamy kohl from Huda Beauty quite a bit. I like that you don't have to sharpen it and then it's just a twist up. I use this for tight lining a lot and it's really nice in the waterline, so I'm going to hang on to this. This is a liner I purchased in Japan. I heard so much hype about these. Everybody there was swarming these eyeliners. Whenever I would go look for these, there was always like 2 or 3 girls also looking at them. So I think these are really popular in Asia, and I had to get my hands on a few just to see what the hype was all about. I will tell you that although they are a twist up, they do not twist down, so you have to be careful not to roll too much up. And they have a super fine tip, which is nice for detail work, but it's a little bit painful in the waterline, honestly. It kind of feels like I'm tightlining with a needle because of its small point. So I don't prefer this in the waterline, but if you want a nice small tight line on your lid or underneath your waterline on your lower lash line, these are great. So I'm keeping this one. I have the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Color Pencil. These are both in the shade Graphite, which is their black shade. I have a small travel size, and I actually also have this unopened full size. These are really nice. They're super creamy. I'll be keeping both of these. Last up is this liner from Estee Lauder. This is the Double Wear Waterproof Gel Eye Pencil in the shade Onyx, and this is okay. It's not my favorite. It comes with a smudger on this side. It's a silicone smudger, which I really like the idea of, but unfortunately this formula does not lend itself to smudging easily. It dries like almost instantly, so it ends up just being pretty frustrating, and although I could make this workable, I didn't have a good experience with it, so I'm going to declutter this. I have 3 white or nude eyeliners, and I'm keeping all of these. This MAC one is fantastic for the waterline. It stays really well. This is the chromographic pencil. I'm not sure if they still make these anymore, but it's a really, really nice formula for the waterline. This one from Surat is also really nice in the waterline. It's just a white. This one is very creamy. And then this one from Too Faced is more of a nude shade. I have it swatched right here. So sometimes if you don't want pure white, a nude can be nice. You can use this to like clean up under your brows or just for like a more natural brightening waterline. But I think white cream eyeliners are super underrated, and I'm definitely keeping all of these. These are all my brown pencil liners. I used to be really into these Too Faced Killer liners. I found them at the cosmetics company store for a good price, and I started buying a bunch. I have Killer Storm and Killer Espresso. As you can see, I have really loved Killer Espresso, which is a brown shade. Killer Storm is a gray, and I don't find myself reaching for it ever, so I'm going to declutter this one, and I will hang on to the brown one. Here's another Can Make Creamy Touch liner. This one is the shade 02, which is a brown, and I will be keeping this. Another LA Girl liner. This one is a metallic shockwave liner. I'm going to declutter this one. This one from Colfi is actually pretty comparable to the Can Make ones. It's not quite as small of a tip, but I find it to be pretty creamy. It's decent in the waterline, but it doesn't have great lasting power. I do like the formula though, so I'm going to hang on to this one. I have a brown liner from Persona. As you can see, I have a lot of brown eyeliners, so I don't really feel the need to hang on to this one. This formula doesn't particularly stand out to me, so I will declutter this. Oops, I found another liquid liner. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. They recently expanded the shades of these. This one is in the shade Graham Cracker. I'm going to hang on to this. Okay, I found another Colfi liner. I guess I didn't realize I had two of these, so let me look at the shades. I have Jammin' Glaze and Cheeky Chiku. Oh, okay, this one has a little bit of sparkle in it. This is Jammin' Glaze. I do like that, so I'll keep that one. And then Cheeky Chiku. Let's see what that one looks like. Okay, that one's just matte. So I'm going to keep both of these. Lastly, we have all of my colorful eyeliners. I have this one from Natasha Denona. This is like a green shade. This is the shade Willow. It's super unique to my collection. I don't have anything like it. Honestly, I can't even remember the last time I wore this, but it's an amazing formula and it's Natasha Denona, so I'm going to keep it. This is my last eyeliner from Can Make. This is the shade 08. It's like a matcha green shade, like an army green. I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah, I'm not getting rid of that. These liners from Sweet Beauty are metallic, and I have to say this silver one is a true standout in my collection. So one side has a little brush on it, and then you have the liner on the other side. And let me swatch this for you because it is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I just put this on my inner corners for some brightness. I'll use it on my lower lash line and sometimes even in my waterline. This is such a beautiful liner. I just don't have anything like this, so I'm keeping this. By the way, this shade is Euphoria Silver. This shade I'm not as impressed with. It's Golden Beetle. It's supposed to also be metallic, but as you can see, it just doesn't have the same reflect that the silver shade does. And though it is a pretty tone, I don't find myself reaching for this one very often. So I think I'm going to declutter this one and just hang on to the silver one. I have these two blue eyeliners. I'm going to declutter the one from LA Girl because it's very, very old. And I'm keeping the one from Give Beauty. This is one of the most stunning blue eyeliners I've ever used. This is Line It Up in the shade Bathwater. I'm going to swatch this one too. It's got a bit of a metallic sheen to it. You slap this in your waterline or on your lower lash line, oh my goodness, it's stunning. So definitely holding on to this. All right, lastly, I have three purple toned eyeliners. This one from NYX is like a pastel-y purple, which is, again, not a color I really have, so I'm going to keep that one. And I like that it's metallic as well. It's super pretty. This one from Farrah, I did reach for the other day, surprisingly, so I'm going to hang on to it. The shade is Burnt Purple. So that one is a deeper, richer purple, but what I like about it is that you can still tell that it's purple. It doesn't look brown, and that's the problem I have with this one from Persona in the shade Plum. This one is like so dark, it's kind of indistinguishable from being a brown. You can just see it really doesn't look purple, especially next to that one from Farrah. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. So I will be decluttering a total of 15 eyeliners and keeping a total of 27 eyeliners. Next up, I'm going to go through my powders. I do have some loose powders as well as some pressed, so let's start with the loose powders. I just got this. This is the Ube birthday cake powder from Huda Beauty. Honestly, I should probably declutter this because it's really not made for my skin tone. It darkens my under eyes, but this is still so new. I might want to do reviews with it still, so I'm going to hang on to it. I have two other shades of the Huda setting powder. I have Cupcake and Cherry Blossom Cake. This is my absolute favorite setting powder. Like on the daily, this is what I reach for. Most of the time I use Cupcake, and then the Cherry Blossom I don't use quite as much just because it does give a little bit more brightness than I prefer, but I'm keeping both of these. I absolutely adore this powder. This one from Milk is still in its box because I actually haven't used it yet. It's the Pore Eclipse Matte Translucent Setting Powder, so I'm going to keep this until I have a chance to test it out. I'm embarrassed to admit how old this powder is from Glossier. This is the Wowder. As you can see, I still have a good bit left, and I love this powder. I actually think it's super blurring. Nobody talks about it, maybe because it's kind of hard to get. I think you can only get it on the Glossier website. I don't think Sephora carries it. I like the mesh packaging, but mine has definitely gone off. It has a strange smell to it now, so I am going to declutter this. This is the translucent setting powder from Dominique Cosmetics. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised with this formula. I don't reach for it a ton, but I don't remember hating it, so I'm gonna keep this one around. Just got this Hourglass Veil Setting Powder. I got a super good deal on it on the Flip app. I think I paid like under $10 for it. And I've used it twice, and so far I've had a pretty bad experience with it. I find that it just like clings to my pores and emphasizes my pores. I'm like really glad I did not pay full price for this. I need to keep testing this out. Maybe it's meant to be used as more of a finishing powder, but it is called setting powder, so I don't know. I need to keep playing around with this, but on days where I don't want my makeup to be ruined. Okay, this is the classic Laura Mercier powder, and I have had this for way too long. I think I bought this back in probably like 2017 or 2018 when this was like all the rage. So even though powder doesn't really go bad, I mean, I guess it can, I feel like this is too old to safely use. So I think I'm gonna let this one go. This powder from Jaclyn Cosmetics is of course no longer available. It is the Luminous powder, and this is kind of what I had hoped the Hourglass powder would be. This is gorgeous, and you can just like dust this all over your face to give yourself like this beautiful luminosity, and I really like this powder. I wish that some of her products were still available. Hopefully she brings them back someday, but I'm gonna keep this. This is the Beauty Bakery Flower Setting Powder, and I think I like this. I really appreciate it when powders have this cap to actually prevent the powder from coming out. It's really nice for travel. I'm gonna keep this. Moving on now to my pressed powders. This is one from Can Make that I picked up in Tokyo. It's the Marshmallow Finishing Powder, and I really like this. It's available in the States if you buy it online from like Yes Style and stuff like that. I find this to be pretty blurring. It's not like as blurring as Huda, but it's pretty blurring, pretty mattifying. I think the packaging is so cute. It's just cheap plastic, but I love how they tried to make it look fancy. So of course, hanging on to that. All right, this is a setting powder from Jouer. I got this from a friend probably like 3 or 4 years ago. She decluttered it to me because it was too light for her. And as you can see, I've given it some love, but I don't reach for it anymore. I feel like the formula is kind of old and drying out at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. All right, this is a fairly new launch from Hourglass, and I didn't love this. I don't know. I wanted to love it because Hourglass generally does a good job with their powders, but yeah, this just wasn't doing anything for me that made me go, wow, that's a nice powder. It wasn't really blurring. It felt super, super, super light on the skin, which as someone with oily skin, I kind of need something that's a little more heavy that's going to actually prevent my oils from seeping throughout the day. It is in a nice slim compact, like for putting in your purse. So I don't know, I'm not quite ready to get rid of it, but those are my thoughts on it, and I'm gonna hang on to it. Okay, these are both from number 7. These are the Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powders. I have 2 shades. I have light and light medium. Light is the shade that works best for me most of the year, and as you can see, I love this powder. I am very close to finishing it up. And then this one I use mostly in the summer. It is a little bit dark for me though right now. This powder is hard to come by. I have a Walgreens near me that actually sells this powder still. I thought it was discontinued, but I actually saw it there this past week. And I have also seen this powder showing up at Marshall's. So I highly recommend if you see it at Marshall's that you grab it. I actually purchased a backup of the shade Light. I think it was like $4.99. So blurring. I throw this in my work bag all the time. It helps control my oils. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. This is just a really, really solid powder. So I'm keeping both of these. I also have 2 shades of this powder from Laura Geller, which is technically a foundation, I think. I have Porcelain and I have Light. I like powders like this that have a little bit of coverage because when I'm setting my face, especially over blemishes, I find that powder just really takes coverage away. So setting with something like this helps to maintain that coverage. And I really like the formula of these as well, so I'm keeping both of these. This is the Moringa Pressed Ceramide Setting Powder from Heimish. I got this a few years ago in PR, so it's getting kind of old at this point. I don't think this would work for everyone. It's not truly translucent, even though they say it is. You can see how white it is there on my finger. It's a very, very hardly pressed, like it's hard pressed powder, so you don't get much pickup. I did like this. I used this for a while when I first got it, but I just don't reach for this anymore, so I will declutter this. This is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Hybrid Powder Foundation. And again, I use this as a setting powder. I'm sure you can also use it for foundation, but I really like to use it to set. Really impressed with this powder. I find that it blurs, and again, it helps keep my coverage on my base. I actually already have a pretty good dip going in there, and I've only had this for about a month, so I have the shade 120, and I'm keeping this. This is the Rare Beauty powder that they launched last year. I have the shade Porcelain. From what I could tell, these shades run very, very deep. So this is the lightest shade, which is really not light enough for some people. This powder doesn't blow me away, but it's also like not horrible. I like that there's a little mirror in the compact. It's good for taking on the go. I'm gonna hang on to it. This is the Pat McGrath Under Eye Powder. I have the shade Light. And this used to be domed. So as you can see, I've used a lot of it. This is actually my second powder that I've gone through. I already emptied one of these before. This is just a solid powder for your under eyes, but the component is very delicate, so don't travel with this. Keeping this. So these are the 4 powders that I will be decluttering, and I'm keeping a total of 17 powders. I forgot one. So this was actually in my purse, so it wasn't with the rest of my powders, but I just ran to go grab it because I remembered I have it. This is the Tower 28 powder. The fact that it's in my purse probably speaks for itself, but I will be keeping this one. Okay, I found another powder. This is the Huda Beauty pressed version of Easy Bake. Honestly, I did not like this. I don't know why I'm keeping it, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it yet. I have the shade Cherry Blossom Cake. It does have like a little puff down here, which is nice, and a nice mirror. The compact's really nice. So I'm gonna give this a few more tries, but this will definitely be on the chopping block next time because I was not blown away by this formula. All right, next up we have brow products. Okay, I've roughly sorted these into gels, powders, and pencils. I got some brow waxes in here as well. I do have 3 brow tools that I just keep in the same basket with all of these. This is from e.l.f. This is their Wow Brow. I believe this is tinted. I really like this brow gel because it does have, as you can see, some fibers in it, which helps with volumizing. This is fairly old and it's getting dried out though, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and toss this one. This is a little mini of the ABH Clear Brow Gel. This is one of my favorite clear brow gels, so I'm definitely keeping this. This is another clear brow gel. This is from Kulfi. I really like this brow gel. It doesn't have the strongest hold, but it gives a really nice texture to your brows, and it has this really cool brush on it. Mine's filthy, obviously. This one is pretty much used up. I have a backup that I need to open, so I'm gonna go ahead and toss this one. This is another clear gel from Nude Sticks. This one has a super strong hold, and the spoolie on it is super tiny. It's really nice, but here's the problem I'm having. This is a great demonstration. This product needs a stopper or something because the product is just everywhere. Yeah, do you see that? So I think it's time for this to go. I really enjoy this brow gel, and I'm like sad to toss it, but the packaging just sort of makes it unusable at this point. This I just picked up from L'Oreal. I've heard so many good things about it. This is their brow lamination gel. It is clear, has a nice small spoolie. It's angled actually, which is kind of cool too, and I'm really enjoying this, so obviously keeping that. This is also new-ish to my collection. This is from Milk Makeup. It's their Kush Brow Gel Laminator. I like this. I don't love it, but I will absolutely use it up, so I'm gonna hang on to this. This is one of my all-time favorite brow gels from Rare Beauty. This is probably the second or third one that I've gone through. I feel like this is on its last legs. I'm not really sure how much is left in here. It's honestly kind of hard to tell, but it's looking kind of nasty, so I think it might be time to toss this. All right, this is from Benefit. This is a newer product, I believe. This is the Precisely My Brow Wax. This is tinted, and I think there is little fibers in it, if I'm not mistaken, but you can see the brush there. It's kind of cool. This gives me a very bold brow, but sometimes I just want a nice one and done. What shade is this? Okay, this is 2.5, so I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to this. All right, these brow waxes from Patrick Ta are very old. I'm kind of scared to open these and look at them, to be honest. I really like these. Yeah, kind of nasty. So that's the tinted one. And this one's the clear one. Honestly, you guys, I've probably had these for several years at this point. Yeah, there's the clear one. That one's obviously been used a bit more than the tinted one, but I feel like my ABH Brow Freeze has kind of replaced these for me, and honestly, this is so much easier to use because these you have to wet. So basically you have to spray them with water, and then you have to scrape it out with a spoolie, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these. So speaking of my ABH Brow Wax, the top looks like that because that's where I put my product when I'm getting it onto my spoolie. I really like this brow gel. I'm about halfway through it, and I will definitely be keeping this. Moving on to brow powders. Now this is not a category I have a lot of, nor I use frequently. This is probably my oldest one here. I kind of like that it's got two different colors, and I reach for this occasionally, but honestly, this is getting so old. I don't think I need to keep this, so I'm going to declutter this. This is definitely a newer version of that powder. I don't know if it's replacing that powder, like maybe they don't even sell the other one anymore, but I'll hang on to this just in case I need a brow powder, and it's also a lot more compact than that other one, so I'll keep this just in case I need a brow powder. This is a brow stamp, and it actually came with a stencil as well. It came with several stencils. This seemed like a gimmick at first, but actually it worked really well, and I really liked the way it made my brows look. This is just getting very old at this point, and I don't think I would feel comfortable using it since it does kind of have this foamy tip on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, even though I really did enjoy this. All right, we are down to our brow pencils. I don't think I'm getting rid of any of these. I just opened both of these from e.l.f. This is my favorite brow pencil. I just have two different shades. This is from Benefit. This is a goof-proof brow pencil. Looks like I still have quite a bit in there, so I will be keeping this. This is the shade 3. This is also from Benefit. This is new. This is their brow pen that has like the 3 tips on it. I actually kind of like this. There's a bit of a learning curve, but I'm figuring it out, so I'll be keeping that. And then this was friend mail. I really like this brow pencil from It Cosmetics. Wow, I still have a lot left. Dang, there's a lot in here. I was gonna say, I've been using this a lot, and I thought that this was probably close to empty. So I'm surprised to see how much is left in this, but I will be keeping this as well. I can never have enough brow pencil. Here's everything I'm keeping. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 brow products. for my keep pile. And this is my declutter, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 products that I am decluttering. Well, I said that the only category I had left after all of this was lip, but I just found another drawer in my vanity that has face palettes, and I totally forgot that I have not gone through those yet. So stay tuned for that. My next and final declutter will be face palettes and lip products. So we're gonna stop this one here. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out for a little while, and I will catch you in the next video.